What is up, ninjas? My name is Semworld, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make big-ass techno kicks, baby. That's the only way I can put this. You can call them dark black kicks, dark lord kicks, whatever, warehouse kicks. But today what we're going to be doing, guys, is making a kick that will have a bit of a reverb base to it, a very long kick. We're going to be going over how to program it so that you can turn any kick into a dark black kick. Now, all jokes aside, guys, we are going to be creating these nasty big-ass techno kicks that you see in a lot of tracks, especially drum code style tracks where you have just a bunch of rides on top, giving you a little bit of tinnitus, but it's worth it. Obviously, when you're at the club, you're drunk, you're just enjoying the music, you're enjoying the vibe, you're enjoying the darkness in there. And today, guys, we're going to be doing this inside of Ableton. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to program it, how you can make it your own, and everything needed for you to do it like a pro. Now, if you guys have any tutorial suggestions when it comes to techno stuff that puzzles you a little bit, or that you just want to see my take on it, make sure to leave it down in the comments below, guys. And also, guys, in early March, we are going to be releasing a techno sound set for Serum called Paradox. And the purpose of this sound set is obviously to give you guys the sounds of modern techno right now. We're going to have nasty acid bass lines, nasty basses, nasty drones, nasty pads, nasty leads. The sound bank, I'm not going to lie, is heavily inspired by the female techno artists of today, like Emily Lenz. We got Charlotte DeWitt. I really love Anna. A lot of her sounds are going to be in that, guys. So if you guys are interested in that and you want to support the channel, make sure to check it out in early March. But as of now, guys, let's get straight into making some big black techno kicks. Ooh-ah. Alright, guys, so welcome inside of Ableton. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is open up a 909 drum machine. The 909, like I said, is one of the best drum machines if you're making techno. So if you ever decide to buy one and you get one, let me know. I'll hit you up, pay you for some samples off that thing. But the 909 drum machine, guys, some of the samples can also be found inside of Ableton. And we're going to be using this to create our first part of the kick, which is the important part, the click, the pa. Alright, so here we're going to be using this 909, which we're going to use here. Now, as of now, it doesn't really sound like a techno kick. So what we need to do is saturate it or distort it in a way where it starts to have a bit more balls to it. So I'm going to go with a medium curve saturation on this. And let's put it on the right one. It's going to be this one. Let's go with a medium. Maybe around 60. And now we're going to transpose it down so it has more of a deeper kind of vibe to it. Let's go maybe negative. I like that, -8. Now, what I'm going to do as well is turn that into one-shot mode. Now, if you watch my previous video on how to make techno rolling bass lines, you guys know that everything is about placement. So, ideally here what we're doing is we have the kick here, which is going to last around 500 milliseconds per kick, as you can see. So, ideally, I want this kick to maybe take up maybe half or 1/4 of that bar, so maybe around 200 milliseconds or 300, and then we're gonna add a bit of a fade out on that by doing so. And we're just gonna get that right, maybe even lower, as you can see, a less fade out. Let's lower that drive. Around there sounds kind of good. Let's maybe go a little bit in there. We'll try -7. Okay, cool. Once we have our kick, what I'm going to be doing is using an audio effect rack. Now, what we're going to be doing with it is pretty much just making a return track. I know some people don't like using the returns inside of Ableton. So we're going to separate. We need something to separate the reverb signal from the dry signal, and that's what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be putting two utilities, so that way we can have our dry signal and our dark lord signal, or the reverb signal. In there, we're going to be putting obviously a reverb, and we'll use the Ableton standard one, but please know that you can use the Valhalla, you can use any reverb you like. Each one's going to give you different results, so use the one that you like the best. Here we're going to get rid of diffusion, chorus, and spin, and we'll leave the high cut on all the way to the right, as we're going to be using an EQ afterwards to get it to sound proper. Try and wait at 100% whenever you're doing this, so we get the full reverb sound. So right now this sounds like. Now, as you guys know, placement is everything, so I am going to be adding an LFO to this before we continue any further to shape this. So we know the kick is maybe taking up 1/4 of this, so I'm going to have an EQ, or sorry, an LFO like so. Move this a little bit to the left just so it doesn't. And there we go, we got that there, and we are pretty much done with this. Now, the next thing to do before we continue any further with the reverb is to EQ out some of the highs on that reverb that we don't like. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Cool. Now I'm going to add a saturator to beefing up that reverb so that it sounds proper. Now it's all about getting this LFO to just feel right. And let's hear what the kick. Let's see how much the kick is taking up with an LFO. LFO has this feature called the waveform, similar to a plugin out there, but I just want to see how much the kick is taking up. You can see the kick is reaching around here. So what I'm going to do is make this reverb go there. And now we're going to maybe a little bit less there. There we go. Cool. From here, it's time to play with this reverb. Now, like I stated, a kick will usually last 500 milliseconds, as you can see, which is half a second, which, you know, 1,000 milliseconds will give you 1 second, obviously. So what we can do is lower decay time to get more of a chill kind of vibe to it, lower it more. It feels like it belongs to the kick and gives it a bit of dirt. So if you're not going for the long techno kick, you just want a bit of a reverb bite to it, we can set it that way. However, I'm going to go around 700. So we still have a bit of decay left over, but it sounds in your face. Now, some people will like to leave those mids. As you can hear, it makes it sound like a reverb. But if you want to go for more of a bass, we're going to lower that down, like so. And then we're going to boost maybe the lows. Okay, now I want a little bit more decay out of this, so it sounds more. There's this frequency in there I'm not liking. I can hear it very distinctly. There it is. Now, as you can hear, the reverb is wide, right? It's in stereo. Ideally, we don't want that. Some songs will have it, like the Adam song on the Techno Beatport top charts. If that's what you want, go for it. However, I'm going to lower the stereo knob on the reverb down to make it mono. And now we have it there. And let's see if we can make this a bit smoother here. Just have it like... Let's let out a bit more. Now I'm going to check my frequency response on this. I don't want this to be as loud as my low end. I kind of want the low end to have more power. So what I'm going to do is decrease around 117 on that with an EQ. And let's use the span. A little bit better. And then maybe cut more here. There we go. Maybe cut this part here. Okay, cool. Give a bit of width to the reverb if you want. You can. You can let out more of those frequencies if you want the reverb vibe in. Now here, the cool thing with the kick is anything we do to the kick will change that way that reverb sounds. So very important, because I can always put negative. Fucking low galore, man. Let's put that fucking EQ LFO tool back. You can see if we go lower, you start to get this nastiness on top of the kick, so we might want to ease up on that. Now, the other thing we can also do with this is that, as you guys know, sometimes we'll have like rolling bass lines, so we can have this kind of go with the volume as well, where it's a rolling bass per se, so we can definitely do that as well, so it's more of a reverb. Let's give this a bit more of a tack so it doesn't really click as badly there. Let's see if we can get this a bit louder. So it's like a reverb kick in a way. Reverb rolling. Alright guys, now the last way to create the techno kick will be with a neat little thing called Convolution Reverb. Now you are going to need Max for Live for this. And if you have it, it makes your life a whole lot easier, as you can use this to create the reverbs like that. There is a bit of work you have to put into it, similar to the other way. However, this way it's going to be the easier way. Now, convolution reverb is neat, and all you really need to know about it is that a lot of people will record profiles or of places like a church. Maybe you're out in the woods and you find a cave, so you'll record the cave reverb there, and you'll call it, you know, like Anyunaya Cave. But the cool thing about it is that once you put it into the convolution reverb itself, it tries to create a simulation of the reverb in that space, creating the properties of it, how damp it was, how long it was, and vice versa. And then you have a lot of settings that you can play with. Here, we're going to be using the convolution reverb, as you can see. Now, by default, we will have type 01, real places, Arundel Nave. So we can use that one. Dry and wet's at 50%. Sounds pretty good. Now, the convolution reverb is going to have a decay feature here, which is based on percentages. Bottom right here, you're going to find your decay time. So as you lower the size or increase it, that will change with it, as well as with decay. As you can see, we have a high size, low decay. We still get a bit of that reverb there. So it's pretty cool to use. We can add a bit of pre-delay, which is going to add this sort of fade at the beginning of it. Now, you don't want to add this on the convolution reverb, because when it comes to convolution reverb, it sucks at diffusing. Usually when you put a kick through a reverb, it doesn't have that same punch because it gets diffused out. What that means is, imagine something hitting a wall with a lot of holes in it at various different depths. So as the sound hits, it starts to get diffused out. It doesn't hit and then just hit the wall and come back. It hits the wall at different lengths and it gets diffused and comes back. So you get more of a weaker kick, but you get that reverb. So here, a lot of these won't have that. So you got to be really careful. Now here we are going to have our standard EQ. We have a high shelf. We're going to have a bell style EQ. And then we're going to have our low shelf here. You know, balls are flying right now, man. This is as dark as you can get. All right, so what we're going to do here is pretty simple, guys. Again, we want to keep that decay time pretty low. As you know already, 500 milliseconds is the length of a kick, right? So knowing that, for instance, this guy, we can set it maybe around low, have a high size, let's say, and lower the decay to maybe where we had like a little bit of 1.87. We don't want to have an abundance of this thing going. Now let's get rid of some of the highs on it. And let's maybe reduce a bit more. There we go. We can mess with the slope here on this S here. So it's the slope of that, how hard you want the cut. And this sounds really cool. What I would like to do here maybe is put like an audio effect rack on it, so I can do that rolling bass line I did when my son walked in. That wasn't planned, by the way. So again, we can set that up, as you guys already know, to utilities on that. And as you guys saw, this sounds a little bit better than the other way, but the other way does have a certain vibe to it. So what I'm going to do here is use an LFO tool on this guy, maybe like so, to get that rolling bass. Maybe we're going to have it like so, and then maybe here we can. We got that sidechain going, so we get it right on. And now if I want to do that rolling bass, well, I can, you know, pretty much just have it like so here, maybe. And yeah, so we'll do that there. Mess with the slope on this if you want. You can add a bit of the cut on the LFO. Put a filter on here. Have fun with that, guys. But that is going to be the convolution reverb. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. You don't need to have it in an audio effect rack. You can get it to sound really good without any of the stuff we did before. We can even, like, you know, go with different vibes. You know, here maybe a little bit. You know, here we have a bit of stereo-ness, so maybe we can also use an EQ mid-side, so we get rid of all the lows in the stereo signal, but we still have some stereo information. So this is super cool, just in case you're that type of guy like me that doesn't like low end in the side. Maybe a bit more highs. You know, here the decay time's at 0.49. Let's put it at 1 second, maybe. and you can fully mono that with just the utility, guys. But I hope you guys find this tutorial useful. I hope it kind of gets rid of that, how the hell do I do that, Sen? But now you understand how to do it. It's all about the kick, having the right reverb, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to get out there, find some good kicks, use them, get that reverb bass line. Send me your songs on Thursday when it comes to techno. I'll review the shit out of it, and you guys have an amazing day.